it gives me basically the same level. Alright, let me show you the whole profile. In this case, it was a little bit lower, but both cases worked pretty nicely. So let's move forward. There was a rotation followed by a strong buying activity, very nicely visible in here. So let's use the profile into the rotation, and this is the place where the heaviest volumes were accumulated. First, the price turned a little bit before the level. I would probably discard the level after the test, and with limit order this level didn't really work. There was a rotation around the level and then the price went past it. Alright, so even though this volume accumulation looked very nicely, in this case it wouldn't really work. So the next rotation in the chart is this big rotation. So let's use the profile over the rotation. Heaviest volumes being in here. Reaction, this one. So another nice rotation, which is followed by strong selling activity, is in here, this rotation, and the selling activity, aggressive selling activity, is in here, and then it continues into a selling downtrend. So let's use the volume profile to look into this area to see where the volumes were the heaviest. So it was in here. This is the place where the volumes were the heaviest inside this rotation. So let's now have a look how the price reacted. What I wanted to say is that it doesn't really matter if the level is old, as in this case it's pretty old one, but the markets have good memory and they remember levels, especially strong levels. Alright, this is the level we have. This is the reaction to it. Crazy, right? Especially after a strong buying activity like this. You can see that the level worked very nicely, even after a month or so. Let's go back. And let's stretch the profile over this whole period. As you can see, the heaviest volumes in this whole period were in here. So this is probably why the price reacted so nicely and so aggressively to the level, because it was point of control of this big and significant area. Most likely it was a weekly point of control. Alright, so this was very strong level to go short from, even though it was pretty old. So let's move on. Another rotation is in here. So let's use the profile to check where the volumes were the heaviest. In this case, it seems that the price didn't actually reach the level. There was a pullback, nice reaction, but the price didn't reach the level. So in this case, I would discard such a level. Alright, let's check one more thing. Only this rotation before the selling activity. Because if we used only this rotation before the selling activity, this is the option number 1 I was talking about before, then the level would be a little bit lower. And when I trade situations like this, when I have to choose between two levels, then I always choose the level which is closer to the price. And this is because I don't want to miss the trade. If the price turns and reacts to volumes in this rotation, I won't miss the trade as I would have missed if I traded this level. Also, what I noticed is when I stretch the volumes over this whole area, over this whole rotation, then it shows that the heaviest volumes are in here, which is another confluence and another confirmation of the lower level. All right, so in case like that, you want to trade the lower level. So let's move on. And let's have a look at this rotation. This rotation looks very nice because there was a rotation followed by a rejection of higher prices, which is sign of aggressive sellers rejecting higher prices. Afterwards, nice selling activity. So let me use the profile for this rotation. Heaviest volumes being in here. You mark the level, wait for a pullback, and you go short from there. Maybe you ask why I didn't choose the whole rotation area, this one, and I only chose this one. And the reason I didn't choose this area is because those volumes created within this rotation, especially those heavy volumes, got already tested with this rejection. So those volumes are tested, and I'm interested mostly in those volumes which still aren't tested. All right, so that's why I chose this level. Now there is another nice case of volume accumulation setup. In here there's a rotation, selling activity. In this case it seems that it didn't work. The trade would be from this level, from the place where the volumes were the heaviest. I would go short from there, but as you can see, the price just rotated at the level and then went upwards, so there was no reaction to the level and it would be a losing trade. Now in here, there is a rotation, rejection of higher prices, sign of aggression of sellers, and strong selling activity. So let's have a look at the rotation and at the volumes. In here, the heaviest volumes were right there. It seems that the price missed the level by just a tiny bit. We can zoom in the profile to see exactly where the heaviest volumes were. Alright, it seems that just few tenths of a pip the price missed the level, so this would probably be a missed trading opportunity. Afterwards, there is another volume accumulation setup in here. The rotation followed by strong buying activity, which is a sign of buyers in this case. So what you do is you stretch the profile over this rotation. As you can see, the heaviest volumes are right there at this price level, and this is the reaction to the level. So this one worked very nicely. Let's have a look at the last one. Let's have a look at the last volume accumulation setup on this screen. It is this rotation followed by this selling activity. If I use the profile to see where the volumes were, was in here, and very nice reaction to it, pretty aggressive one. So another nice reaction to the volume accumulation setup. Now there's another way how to view the charts, and I really think that this is pretty interesting and helpful way how to look at the charts. The thing is that you don't use candles based on time, so in this case it's one candle per 30 minutes, but you use volume bars, which means that after a certain amount of volumes gets accumulated, then a new bar is drawn. For example, if I set one bar per 10,000 lots, then after 10,000 lots, a bar would get completed. Then a new bar will start forming, and after another 10,000 lots, the candle will close and another one will start forming. And the reason I think this is that useful is because when, for example, in this volume accumulation setup, you are looking for rotation, then when the candles are based on time, sometimes the volumes are not there, especially for example when the rotation occurs in the Asian session. But when you see a rotation which got formed using volume bars, then you know that there actually were volumes accumulated. Because there wouldn't be candles in the rotation if there weren't the volumes. Because one candle is formed after a certain amount of volumes is traded there. So if there is a rotation created by volume-based candles, then you can be sure that there actually were heavy volumes created within the rotation. And this is very handy, especially when you use it with this volume accumulation setup or with other volume-based setups. So I'll now switch to the volume bars and I'll show you how the volume accumulation setup works with those kind of bars, alright? So what you do is you right-click the chart and you go to Data Series, and instead of